very end here then, when you do the benediction, then you want me to come up and do the
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
Okay. It is, isn't it? Yeah. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Wayne County. We are a diverse congregation that welcomes you as you are, regardless of your age, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, economic status, or physical ability. We come together to seek deeper meaning and understanding from each other and the world around us. Your presence here today is a gift that brings us closer to that understanding. We are an active community that lives its values beyond the hours of Sunday service, and I would call your attention to the following. Join the UUFWC Humanist group today at 11:30 in person in the large group room at the end of the RE Hall. Alicia Claymayer, who teaches at Worcester City Schools, will speak to us about neurodivergence with time for questions and discussion. It's bowling time. Please join your fellow UUs at Triway Lanes for this fun event on Sunday, October 15th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. More details can be found on flyers throughout the building or by talking to a member of the membership committee. Volunteers for Madrigal Feast are needed. Lots of opportunities from serving our guests to making the magic happen behind the scenes. Join the fun and connect with friends, old and new. Sign-up sheets are in the foyer for sign-up. See a link at uufwc.org. If questions, you can contact Mary Wicks. If you would like to find out more about our activities, feel free to ask Karen Skubik, our membership coordinator.
Thank you, Jean. It's great to see all of you on this beautiful fall day. I know we have some visitors here today, and I was able to warn a couple of them that we give you the opportunity to introduce yourself if you want to, but you don't have to. But if there's anyone here who has not yet introduced themselves ever, you are welcome to do so. I'll bring the microphone up to you, and it's up to you. Okay, we have one brave person here.
I'm not sure brave, but I'll give it a shot. Hi, I'm Jenny Love, and I bring you greetings from UUCNH, which is Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills, and that's in the northern suburbs of Pittsburgh. That's where I have been a member for the last 12 years. But my husband Jim and I moved to Massillon, Ohio. My daughter-in-law Tara Love is here with me, and she and my son Ben suggested that we consider moving back. My husband has had a lot of medical challenges in the last year or so, and by moving back, we would have their love and support to help us through some challenging times. And of course, there are 4 grandchildren living with them, so that's another incentive to come back. I think my church is, I read a little bit about you on the website, and I think my church is probably about the same size as yours. We are a green sanctuary, and am I correct, you also are a green sanctuary church? I have been going to church online, and that has been wonderful, because it's been a way for me to connect with my wonderful friends there at UUCNH. But I have to say, I miss coming to church and being in person. That sense of fellowship with other people has been missing for me. So here I am to see what you're all about today.
Welcome. Thank you, Jenny. And I should also welcome the people that are online, because we know that there are some that often check us out, either our website or us online, before they come here. And I know we have 6 people right now watching, so hi to all 6 people of you there. So would anyone else like to introduce themselves? Okay. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carol Ning, and I'm here with my brother Gil Ning. Gil's been here for 30 years. I just recently came here to retire from the West Coast. I was a member of the San Francisco church, which is a very big church. And I used to go, I've been a member since 1979. And I used to go in every other week and go to church, and I took a bus.
Wonderful. Welcome, Carol and Gil. Anybody else who would like to introduce themselves? All right, it's great to have you all here. Hopefully, we'll get to chat with all of you some more after the service. Wait, we got another one. Someone's pointing. Cheryl's pointing. Where are we pointing? Oh, so do you want to say something too, Gil? Okay, Cheryl just thought that you might want to. I thought. Okay, here we go, since I'm here.
Hi, my name is Gil Ning. As I said, this is my sister, and she's recently moved to Worcester, and all the times that she ever come to visit me in Worcester, she would always come here. So now, hopefully, she'll be a new member of yours, but she really held this place dearly, you know, going back even before this edition was put on. So thank you for welcoming her.
Welcome. Thank you. All right, thanks for taking the time. Anybody else? All right, good to have you all here.
Our chalice lighting this morning is called nostalgia. There's nothing wrong with celebrating the good things in our past, but memories, like witnesses, do not always tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We need to cross-examine them, recognizing and accepting the inconsistencies and gaps in those that make us proud and happy, as well as those that cause pain.
Opening hymn this morning is This Little Light of Mine, and we are going to do our hand motions with it this morning. So if everybody would like to rise as they're willing and able. You shine your light in whatever way works for you. I suggest this is a shining light, okay? So we've got a shining light. We have all around the world. And we are building up a world, okay? So everybody can stand up. We can do these together, all right? I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Good way to get your blood flowing this morning, right? Don't worry, there's more. Good morning, everybody. It is time for us to do a bit of a story meditation this morning. And I would like to invite everyone who would like to be a little closer to come on up and sit up here. Sit in the front row, on the floor, up here. I'll move back a little bit so there's plenty of room. Wonderful. It is October 1st, and our theme for the month in religious exploration and through our worship services this month is heritage, the gift of heritage, and looking at the gifts of the heritage of our faith, Unitarian Universalism. In religious exploration, we're going to use the idea to define heritage as roots, our trees, or the roots of our individual roots, and for example, the roots of a forest, that sort of thing. That's our heritage, okay? So I have a story called Be a Tree. So I don't want any flashbacks, but I'm going to have you stand again. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, if you are willing and able, everybody stand, okay? So we are going to do a bit of a meditation to get ourselves into this movement. We are going, and you can just follow along. We are going to be a tree. Stand tall, stretch. Any kind of tree you imagine that you are, stretch that way. Reach for the sun. Now your roots, let your roots curl up into the soil, and they ground you solidly. Your spine, it's a trunk. Ooh, it is standing straight, or maybe not. It's giving you your shape. It's holding your crown, this big crown, and it's channeling your food right up, all the way from the bottom, those curled up roots, to the top. Your skin, that part is your bark. It's protecting everything inside your tree, everything that's in. Beneath that bark, there's layers. Layers upon layers upon layers upon layers, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. As you grow bigger and strong, and it supports you and holds you in there tight, okay? In the heart center, right there, that's where you keep your nutrients flowing up and through, and that has sustained you from when you were small till you were tall. Now, your crown might be round. Your crown might be weeping. You might have a pyramidal crown. Maybe it's broad and squat. Could be any of those trees. Find your tree self, your spirit tree. Okay? And whatever your crown is, it is supporting it. I'm sorry, it's not supporting you. It's spreading and collecting the sunshine for you. It's feeding you. It filters out the dust for us. It's shading your roots on hot, hot days. Wave your leaves in the wind. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Breathe in the air. Drink in the sun. Let that fuel you all the way down. Now look around. You are not alone. You are in a forest of trees. Forest of trees, a community of trees. Are there pyramidal trees? Are there weeping trees? Big, broad trees? They're coloring trees, by the way, so they're in the spirit. They are coloring trees, okay? And our roots are all twined together. Imagine your roots all twined together. They create a network. Feel those roots. Just focus on the roots to your community of trees, creating a network, a microbial network, a fungal network. And you're laughing at me. That network feeds all of us. It helps us communicate to the other trees. Some people call that the Wood Wide Web. Yeah. Sorry, we're meditating. Okay. So, what is in our branches? Anyone? What's in our branches? Acorns. Leaves. Animals. Squirrels. Can I hear any animals in our trees? Spiders are quiet. Spiders are quiet. Maybe a barred owl out there? Yeah, oh. So we are sustaining in ourselves, we're sustaining whole ecosystems. Right here, us, this forest. Together we're strong. We nurse the young trees. The older trees nurse the young trees, and they shade the younger trees. And then the stronger trees kind of shelter the little weaker trees. Sometimes they push them out a little bit, but you know, they shelter the weaker trees. And in that network, they help the sick trees. They're a family, a community, a world, a cosmos. There's enough for everyone. So, be a tree. And together, we are a mighty forest. Thank you all for joining in the spirit of trees and community of trees. We will now sing the children out to their gatherings with our children's blessing. Good morning. We're going to go out now if you'd like to go with us to classes. I'll walk with you and show you where to
Is
go.
this
Let's
on?
go, Roma.
Okay, I don't remember how to play that one. So if anybody remembers the tune and can just start singing, that would be great.
Go in love, our hearts go with you. Go in joy, our hopes go too. Learn in love and grow in wisdom. Shine your light in all you do. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Half of my sermon has already been done. This is a time for our prayer and meditation. So I know for me, this past week has been unusually strong in energy and emotion and just busy. And I'm going to blame a lot of it on the full moon. But it's also a new Jewish holiday. So everybody we're just going to do a couple of breaths in. Take a big breath in. Feel your shoulders rise. Hold it for a second and release. Another big breath in. Hold in the joy that you've just taken in. And release all the tension from the week. Take in one more good breath, just for good measure, and release. We have one joy. It is from Doris Cannon. My grandson Cameron recently married his fiancée Ciara. Thoughts and prayers for their lifelong life together would be appreciated. Congratulations. As we're going to sing a meditative hymn, anybody that would like to welcome in something good or welcome out something bad, and put a joy or a stone for joy or something that you just don't want to tell anybody. I'm putting in 2. You're welcome to come up.
It has been said that faith without works is dead. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in doing the work no matter the source of your faith. The offering we are about to collect funds the works both within our community and beyond these walls. All donations collected today that are not specifically marked otherwise will be split with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. The UUFWC is a nonprofit organization that advances human rights and social justice around the world, partnering with those who confront unjust power structures and mobilizing to challenge oppressive policies. The offering will now be collected and gratefully received. Please join me in the unison reading. The words are on the screen. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. Let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others. Reading is A Warrior of Light by Paulo Coelho. A warrior of light knows that certain moments repeat themselves. He often finds himself faced by the same problems and situations, and seeing these difficult situations return. He grows depressed, thinking that he is incapable of making progress in life. I've been through all of this before, he says to his heart. Yes, you have been through all this before, replies his heart, but you have never been beyond it. Then the warrior realizes that these repeated experiences have but one aim, to teach him what he does not want to learn. At the beginning of the struggle, the warrior of light stated, "I have dreams." After some years, he realizes that it is actually possible to reach his goal. He knows that he will be rewarded. At that moment, he feels sad. He knows about other people's unhappiness, about loneliness and frustration experienced by so much of humanity, and he does not believe that he deserves what he is about to receive. His angel whispers, "Give it all up." The warrior kneels down, offers God his conquest. The act of surrender forces the warrior to stop asking foolish questions and helps him to overcome his feelings of guilt.
I hope I can get through this story without cracking up, because if I start laughing, I'm not going to stop. It was a spring day. Deb Silver, her younger sister Gail, and I decided, after being dropped off for Hebrew school at Park Synagogue, it would be more fulfilling to do a nature walk. Mind you, it is spring, mud, wet. Behind the temple, where there were woods and a stream, we walked and talked. I'm pretty sure one of us fell in the stream and got wet. I'm pretty sure it was Gail, Deb's younger sister, but I'm not sure. Time flies when you're having fun. And since we were having fun, by the time we got back, people were looking for us. Why? Because we heard the bell, but when we heard the bell, we were too far to make it back to where our parents were picking us up. At the time, it was, I believe, Deb's mom that was picking us up. And so, I'm going. So when we got back, whoever it was that fell, and I know it wasn't me, was covered in mud. And it had started drying because it had been a couple of hours. And the reason why I say I'm pretty sure it was Deb Silver's mom was because I, with my smart aleck mouth, said, well, we learned something. The moral of this story is, if you're going to cut class, wear a watch. That wasn't so bad. There's nothing more limiting than tapping out of tension and oversimplifying the thoughts and feelings that have the power to help us understand who we are and what we need. It's about taking what was and bringing it forward to what is now. It's what has your past given you, so you can create your future. It's who we are. So heritage, like Jenny said, is the theme for this month of October. Heritage. When I hear the word heritage, I think, who am I? I'm just a little kid from Cleveland Heights, folks. Where we played baseball on the street, basketball in someone's backyard. The word Jewish, from the Winston Simplified 1931 dictionary, pertaining to or like the Jews or their customs. Heritage, there's 3 different definitions. The first one, an estate that passes down by descent. The second one, an inherited quality or characteristic. And the third, in the Bible, the people of God, Israel. So I sat down with Reverend Walter a few weeks ago, and he thought since Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the high holidays, and now Sukkot, starting last night, it would coincide with this month's theme of heritage. And what did it mean to me? What was it like growing up for me, living in Cleveland Heights? I was surrounded by so many different cultures. I really didn't realize or recognize who I was. Really, the only time I felt Jewish was when my mom's family came in from Chicago. It was once a year. Cousin Harry, Aunt Esther, Uncle Rudy, and Bubby would come in. Bubby is Jewish for grandma. When I was about 10 or 11, I would go visit them. And every other year, my family would go to Chicago for Thanksgiving to visit our relatives there. It was more like a family reunion, actually. And usually after the 4-course feast, starting with matzo ball soup, homemade kreplach. Kreplach is like a wonton on steroids. It's, it's not pork, it's ground up, ground chuck usually, an egg, and some spices, salt and pepper. It's really good. Then there would be gefilte fish, the main course, and of course, homemade desserts, strudels, cookies, cakes, and we would have Bubby's homemade challah. It was dessert when we got the stories. The story I'm about to tell you now is the story of my grandmother who came to this country from Lithuania. I'm not sure when, it was like around 1939, 1940. So she was a seamstress, and she was also living with her aunt. I don't know the story on why she was living with her aunt. Nobody really talked about that. But she did a lot of the cooking and the cleaning, and her aunt she was not a very appreciative woman. She was very strong and set in her ways, and Bubby decided she wanted to come to America. She didn't want that life anymore. She wanted to grow, and she wanted to become something other than just a seamstress and a cook for someone. So she saved up money where she bought a ticket to come to America, which probably would have been in the early 1940s. And she bought her ticket, and she told her aunt that she was leaving and she was coming to America to live a better life. And her aunt got so upset that she stole Bubby's ticket and hid it from her a couple days before she was to leave. So Bubby was upset, but Bubby was a very strong person. She was very, very strong in her faith. They kept kosher and did all the holidays. And the first night, she did not sleep. She was so upset she did not sleep, and she was looking for the ticket, hoping that it wasn't thrown away. The second night, she did fall asleep, where she had a dream that the ticket was put in a dresser drawer. That morning, her aunt went out, and Bubby looked in that drawer and found that ticket. She took the ticket and she sewed it into the hem of her dress, packed up her belongings, and left. So if Bubby wouldn't have come to America, I would not be up here telling you this story. I do want to say I don't practice Judaism. It is my heritage. It is my background. The only thing I really relate to Judaism is the food. I am a foodie. I don't believe in organized religion. I do believe very strongly, as Bubby did, in a higher power. And I believe, as Bubby did, that it is both male and female. The Jewish religion, you have a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah. A bar mitzvah is usually for males. A bat mitzvah is for females. My bat mitzvah was Friday, April 13th, 1979. The only thing I remember is it was so windy that day, and it was supposed to storm. It never really stormed, but like all my friends came. It was a really, really good time, and I tried to find pictures so that I could show them up there, but it didn't happen. Sorry. When you're bar or bat mitzvahed, you're supposed to become an adult. I'm still waiting for that part. I went to Sabbath school on Saturday mornings, where the only thing that interested me was learning Hebrew, learning it, writing it, reading it. I loved reading it. I actually read it better than I did English. We learned the basics, where we were to where we are now. Heritage. In the fifth grade Hebrew school, it was Sam Richmond's class, The Holocaust. It was one of the most profound classes I will ever take in my entire life. Mr. Richmond didn't sugarcoat anything. He showed 2 movies that year. Later, some years later, PBS aired those 2 movies. I'm not going to talk about those because they're just terrible. When they were aired on PBS, it showed the world what Nazi Germany was like. As much as I hate talking about, it is my heritage. And the culture that I grew up with. As I finally understood why my grandmother, Bubby, and my Aunt Esther always said why it should never happen again. A couple years ago at Toro, they put out an email, and they did this for good reasons. And it was an email to be able to get inclusive groups, to be able to get, whether you're gay, bi, trans, black, whatever religion you believed in, it was to form inclusive groups. But they asked questions, and it was an outside company. And when I read this email, all I can think of was my Aunt Esther and my grandmother saying it should never happen again. And I thought, wow, I understand that it was for good reasons, but good reasons can also turn bad. I never filled any of that stuff out. And there was several other people that weren't Jewish, but they felt the same way. Part of heritage is tradition. It's part of culture passed from person to person or generation to generation. It provides a sense of identity and belonging. It helps us to shape our culture and our lives. The next story I want to tell you is back in Cleveland Heights, we were an absolute melting pot of culture. The only culture that I don't remember being there was Latino. We had several different congregations of Jewish, whether it be Orthodox, Reform, Conservative. I remember one of my good friends, Ray Mark Wong, and his parents, we would all have a block party where they would close off the streets and everybody would bring food. Juan Roberts was one of my other best friends, and his father was from the South, and he would cook dishes that normally you wouldn't have. I remember one time he actually cooked raccoon, and listen, in the South, you know, you have to do what you have to do. But it was a time where everybody got together and we played ball, we played badminton, and we just talked and we heard stories from other families. It was one of the most memorable times that I can remember growing up. Valuing your tradition is an important part of developing a strong sense of self and understanding the culture that shapes us. At the core of traditions is a shared set of beliefs, values, customs, and rituals that are passed down from generation to generation. They can be passed down through family. They serve as a reminder of who we are and our connection to the past. By valuing traditions, we honor the people who came before us and the struggles they faced in order to make our lives better. The key is not to live in the past, but to live in the present and to make a better future. We must be proactive and recognize that responsibility. Proactive people don't blame circumstances, conditions, or conditioning of their behavior. Their behavior is a product of their own conscious choice. It's based on values rather than a product of their conditions based on feeling. My Bubby was a proactive warrior of the light. Heritage is about leadership. It's our responsibility to continue to bring it forth so that future generations can say, my heritage. As I said previously, today is the first day of Sukkot. Sukkot is a week-long Jewish holiday that comes 5 days after Yom Kippur. Sukkot celebrates the gathering of the harvest and commemorates the miraculous protection God provided for the children of Israel when they left Egypt. We celebrate Sukkot by dwelling in a foliage-covered booth or hut known as a sukkah, and by taking the four special species of vegetation. These are the 4 plants mentioned in Leviticus: palm branch, willow branch, citrus, and myrtle. On Sukkot, God determines how much rain will fall that winter, It's the primary rainy season of Israel. Thus, while every sacrifice in the temple included wine libations poured over the altar, on Sukkot, water was also poured over the altar in a special ceremony. This ritual engendered such joy that it was celebrated with music, dancing, and singing all night long. This celebration was called Simchat Beit HaShoevah. On the last day of Sukkot, Hoshana Rabbah, there is a special service at the synagogue where the rolls of the Torah are taken out and people take 7 turns around them while holding the 4 species. This holiday is so joyous that in Talmudic times, when someone said the word Chag, or holiday, without specifying which one, you could know that they were referring to Sukkot.